Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Atolagbe. Today I'm going to show you how I made this green velvet skirt with tiered drapes and a side slit. Now let me put a little background story to this. So I was inspired by Pinterest pictures to make this dress more like a gown and skirt pairing, and when I imagined it and from what I had seen, it was nice and phenomenal. But when I actually made it, it was not. So after taking in the disappointment, I finally decided that it was actually nice to wear them as two separate units and like never together. That's why today I'm going to have the skirt in this video, and next week I'm going to have the gown part. I should mention that I actually think that the design is still valid. I just think that it would work better with more exotic and luxurious fabric. And so if I try it again in the future, I will definitely keep this channel updated. Like I said, today we're going to make the skirt, which I really like. And next week we're going to make the gown part, which I don't like as much, but I acknowledge that it's a valid and valuable process, and I'm still going to put it out there. So all of that said, I want to say thank you so much for 900 and actually almost 1,000 subscribers. I feel like I'm not the most visible YouTuber right now, and to come online all of the time and find that I have new views and that I have new subscribers, it actually makes me happy, elated and inspired. And I just wanted to put the thank you so much out there. I want you guys to know that I see you and I appreciate you. And I promise to continue to give you the content that you signed up for. That out of the way, let's get started. But before we go, I want to ask you guys to support my channel by subscribing and liking and sharing my content. Also, I'm wearing a jumpsuit that I made a couple of videos back, and I'm going to link it up here if you're interested. So let's get started. So starting with my basic pattern, I'm going to be manipulating the front pattern alone, because the back pattern, I'm just going to use it the way it is plain, and the only thing I get to do is to elongate it to the required length. With this front pattern, because it's asymmetrical, meaning the right side and the left side are not going to be the same, so I have to draft out both sides and have a full pattern. So here I measured 11 inches, which was where I wanted my drape to end. So I went on to draw these lines on which I'm going to slash and spread the pattern. I drew diagonal lines at first pointing to the waist, because I wanted the drape to come from the waist, like not just for it to go from left to right. And that's exactly what makes it asymmetrical, right? Because the drapes are going from the left to the waist and not like the right. So I proceeded to cut on those lines to the end of the pattern, but not through the pattern. Like, do not separate them, because the goal is to create fullness in one side. We're not trying to create fullness in the other side as well. So I just cut it to the end and left these tiny tips, and then I went on to spread it on another paper and to tape down the pieces. I spread it this much. If you have the stomach to do much more, go ahead and do that, but this was mine. After I had done this, obviously I picked up my pencil and I connected all of the pieces together so that we could have this one unified giant pattern for the skirt. Okay, so I also cut out this pattern right on the lines that I had used to connect them. I should mention that at this point, the next thing you're going to see is me with the fabric already cut out. Nothing much has happened other than that I elongated this fabric. Okay, so I think I'm going to film an illustration of that. I elongated the fabric and I cut out the slit. I elongated the fabric and I cut out the slit so that it now looks like this. So I'm going to, at this point, just start to pleat the fabric. Yeah, the first pleat obviously has to run into the waist, and then the next pleat is going to follow in its direction a little bit, and then the next one is going to be literally horizontal. I did this and it took a while to actually align the skirt, because you want to make sure that you're picking up enough fabric to ensure that it matches the back skirt. And I, of course, was using the back skirt itself as a guide, and also the lining to just guide me through how this should look and how it should end up. Okay, so now after pleating everything, it was looking like this. I picked up my lining, which, by the way, I had cut earlier, just measuring 9 inches on the front and back skirt patterns and cutting that out, adding seam allowance and cutting it out on the lining fabric. I did the same for the front and the back, and as you can see, the back does not have a zipper allowance in the center because the zipper is going to be in the side. So I pinned down the lining, which already has interfacing at this point, to reinforce the waist so that it could stand firm and upright, and I stitched it to the velvet, the actual skirt fabric. I went on to top stitch the lining on the inside to ensure that it sits nice and flat on the inside of the velvet. I had done the same thing with the back skirt, and now just connecting them, just stitching them together, plain and simple, all the way to the side skirt, all the way to where the side slit begins, which is just after the lining. I also installed an invisible zipper. I'm sorry that this is blocked, but if you guys want me to make a video on how I make invisible zippers with my regular zigzag foot, let me know in the comments. Right after this, the skirt is literally done. I top stitched the raw edges at the slit and the hem, and now the skirt was done. I hope you liked the video. As I said earlier, you can support by liking the video, sharing, subscribing, and watching other videos. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.